Hey guys, how's it going? This is Francisco. This is going to be the first video or pretty much the first introduction to JavaScript, and it's going to start by introducing what JavaScript is and talking about really simple things like variables. Um, if you don't have any experience programming, this may be a little bit confusing for you, but I will try to explain it the best I can, and we'll actually start playing with JavaScript. So first, you actually need to install Node or some form of JavaScript. And if you don't want to install Node, the easiest way to do so is just on your browser, actually. So I'm going to switch over to my browser, and what we'll do is we'll do the console. So we'll do Control-Shift-I, and that will bring up the inspector. So most modern browsers will allow you to do this by default. So Chrome, Firefox, I'm using Brave. So pretty much any modern browser should let you do this. So let's go ahead and just start messing with it. So if you go to the console, this is actually a JavaScript console. So if I do something like alert, which is a built-in browser function, so I'll put alert all bases belong to us. Huh. Oh, I didn't even spell alert right, so and it'll pop up an alert, and it'll say Google says all bases belong to us. Pretty cool, huh? So that's actually a function, but this is how JavaScript works. It's actually and well, not anymore, but it started as a programming language or more of a scripting language that was put into browsers, and it allowed you to do a lot of cool stuff like animations, change the values on some web page elements. And then it started to mature and become this really cool functional programming language, because now we can actually mess with JavaScript from the back end. So I want to talk about variables. So that's something that I will show you. And the cool thing about JavaScript is that you can assign variables, and a lot of programming languages and even scripting languages are based on this, is setting up those variables. So let's do something by defining a variable. So the way we define a variable is using var. And there's others. So there's var, there's let, and there's const. So const is for constant. So there's a very particular case for each, and I will explain and elaborate what they mean more on a later module. I just want you to introduce you to these variables. So we'll use var to assign a variable, and we'll name this variable, and we'll call this dog. And you use the equal sign to assign a value to the variable, and we'll do a string. And the string is a data type. I will go over data types as we continue, and it's probably the first one that I should go over, but just because I want to show you the ropes on how the functionality of JavaScript is, I'm not going to go over what the technical terms are yet. So let's just go with practice and start working on this. So the var dog is Sasha. So I will press enter, and I have assigned, and I will get the undefined return. It's just like a weird thing that the console does. So if I do console.log and I type in my variable dog, I will get Sasha in return. So let's do that with the alert. And instead of typing in a string in here, we want to return the value of dog. And it will say Sasha. That's pretty cool, huh? Of course, it's nothing too crazy. We're not making the latest iOS application with this small variable and function, but it lets us do really cool things when we start to build from the ground up. So let's do a const. which is a constant. So, and then we'll use right angle because a constant doesn't change. And a right angle does not change at all. This is something that if you take basic math class, you'll understand, well, you'll learn that a right angle is always 90 degrees. And we'll do another console. Do console, dot log. And let's put right angle. 90 degrees. And these 90 degrees are actually not an integer. It's a string. So I'll go over what the difference is later. So if I do an alert and do right angle, get 90 degrees. Cool. So let assigns a variable, but it's a scoped variable. So meaning it will only work within a function. I will explain how you can apply this in later courses or a later module where I will actually go into detail on when is the best time to use let. But we're going to use it just so we can show what's going on. Let's do let city equals Dallas. Okay. And then we'll do a console. Console.log, and we'll do city Dallas. And let's try that with alert. The function alert. And inside we'll put city. Dallas. Cool. So we went over the 3 types of variables that you can assign in JavaScript, and we learned how to assign a variable to those, assign a value to those variables. Of course, we used a string, and that was pretty cool, huh? Yeah, it was pretty lame, I will admit, but I promise that the further we go into this course, the more you will learn how to utilize the JavaScript library, and you'll be able to do a lot of cool apps. So I hope you see me for the next module, and we'll talk about assigning more than just strings to these variables.